Welcome back to Redneck Garage. We are live.
Welcome back. Where did we go?
Uh, Me and you been in here for a while, and others been waiting, and we're actually quite a bit early because I got a family member coming into town, and they're almost here. So I got a little under 2 hours to play on live stream, and I want to make it worth it for you guys. And we were going to go live tomorrow, but we decided to switch it up a day because there's people that always miss the live that really wish that they could visit the live while we're live. So we wanted to maybe,
You want to shut the door?
hopefully, give them a chance. What?
Oh, we just went live and everybody had to come in. And here's the pissed off wife because they butchered her hair.
That is nothing out of the ordinary
What,
there.
dear?
We got 8 watchers, guys. And once we get a couple more watchers, there's something on the screen that I have got to talk about. That thing is the baddest CFMOTO machine I have ever saw. I mean, look at it. It kind of resembles a KRX. Am I not lying, Larry?
No, that's a pretty... The wife's right now, it's got like egg whites all over the floor. She's drooling over it.
Brandon, yes. Brandon Davis says, made it to spring break. I'm grumpy as hell, but drove 15 hours straight. Yeah, well, Brandon, just look at that Purdy Z-Force. It'll make you frickin' smile, wouldn't it? And you're on vacation, so shat it.
What do you mean? Isn't he a little old for spring break?
Well,
I mean, is he trying to recapture his youth?
Maybe, but I bet his wife keeps
Snowflake.
him in shape. Yeah.
The wife doesn't know him as Brandon. She knows him as Snowflake.
Yep.
All over my shirt.
So
Of my hair.
Everybody's watching your boobs too.
I don't care, but look at all the hair on my shirt.
This is one. Oh man, this Z-Force right there. That looks to me like it has Super ATV front and rear A-arms, and I sure wish I had a set, but they're not making them anymore, which sucks. And I really like those doors on that thing, and those bumpers actually. I'm not a fan of those bumpers. I think they're kind of a little weird looking, but on that machine, they just set it off, and then them bars coming out of the roll cage there, going down. Yep, most freaking definitely, and that chopped cage has definitely got it going on.
Now that rear bumper is the same one I have on my 1000.
Yeah, that I was gonna say that's the same one you got. That front bumper, that one, I'm not a fan of that bumper, but on that rig right there, the way that thing looks, that is bitchin'. Plain and simple. This thing it's got my attention for days. Freaking Brandon. Thanks for joining, Brandon. Hey, Brandon. Now I'm going to close this out. Hold on. Look. Oh, shoot. See, I really got to learn how to do this. Let's see. Oh, my God. Solo. Look at that. I'm going to be doing a video here soon on them sweet, sweet, sweet soaps. And I'm excited. I'm super excited about it, actually. All right. Let me get off this phone here. See if I can. Cool. I think we're gone there. All right. So Larry has something in his hand, or I should say hands, that he wants to show you guys.
No, not yet. I'm just sitting here playing with them, keeping my hands busy.
Oh, I thought your old lady was doing that.
Oh, she keeps other parts busy.
So you don't want to show them?
Not yet. Well, yeah, I can go ahead.
Yeah, you can.
Some of you guys might know what this is.
Hey, evening, Justin. Hey, buddy. Thanks for joining. I hope you like our background here.
I am doing a remote oil filter to start with on my 1000. And then when the wife lets me, I'm going to add an oil cooler to it. I got all my parts in. Now it's a matter of hooking the hose up, and it'll be titties.
Sweet, Justin. Glad you love it. And I'm super excited to get to doing some videos.
Now, the remote oil filter adapter, you can get over at Mr. RPM. The machine work is freaking top notch. No sharp edges, no burrs. There was no shavings left in any of the components. And this one, the remote one's a little expensive. It's like $160, 205 shipped with second day air. But if you want the one that's basically has this unit and then this here just built into it, where it'd be, you guys gonna get the idea, where the filter's right on the backside. That one's considerably cheaper. It's like $80 or something like that. And then they also got one that's a little bit thicker here that the oil filter spins onto that'll go to a cooler also. But so this is going to be an interesting project. I'm super excited to get this done probably tomorrow. It was going to be today's project, but Steve wanted to do a live stream today. Oh my God, I see two of you again. What the hell?
My ancient equipment. The laptop shut off on me. We'll be back at it here in a minute. Okay.
Is it normal for a front wheel bearing on a Z-Force 800 already to have issues after 1,500 miles on the counter? Well, that depends on if you got wheel spacers, been riding in dirt or mud and water. There's lots of issues that go into that.
Hold on, guys. I'm fixing this. Sorry. Hey, we're back. Hey, guys. Sorry. I'm using like a dinosaur TRX right here. And, it's from 2007 because I sink all my money into my YouTube videos. And so stuff happens. What did I miss? What did I miss, Larry?
Oh, not too much.
Last I heard was wheel bearing.
Well, a guy had a question. It's from Ken. Is it normal front wheel bearings on a CFMOTO Z-Force 800 already to have issues after 1,500 miles on the counter? And I go, well, that depends on whether or not you're running big old wheel spacers, running in the mud, running in the water.
Correct.
All that stuff cuts out life.
Yep. Mine's got almost 2,000 on the clock. I'm like real close to 2,000 miles. And I have just a teeny weeny bit of play in the wheel bearing. And I got to address a small minor situation with the CFMOTO machines that not a lot of people know about. The wheel bearings develop a little bit of play in them, and it doesn't mean that they're bad. Okay. A bearing is actually bad when it starts binding up and making noise.
Grinding.
And grinding. And mine are fine. But what I noticed with these are there's a little flaw in the hub, and you can fix that flaw with a little spacer that goes on your axle right before the bearing. So, because the axle actually doesn't tighten down on the bearing like it's supposed to. So, there's a little bit of play that ends up happening, and that's basically on uh, every CFMOTO machine that I know of to date. Now, they may have updated some stuff in 2020 and 2021. I'm not sure on that, but I can speak for 2019 and later, and especially for the Z-Force machines that this little problem occurs. But when you're trail riding, it's not a huge deal for that little bit of play. It's I call it quite normal, but you can fix it and it will make your wheel bearings last longer. So if you jack up your machine and you spin your tire and there's no noise from that wheel bearing, or if you hit the road at like 50 miles an hour and there's no noise, then you're fine. Now what? Brandon, Nightbot is
Brandon,
hitting you, dude.
he's already in trouble.
Oh my God, Brandon, that Nightbot, it doesn't say nothing to nobody but you.
That's what I was laughing about.
So just to clear that up about the bearing, that's something to look into. I could maybe someday do a video on it. Right now, it's not a top of the list priority for videos. I have so many videos in a list that I need to get done. And there's been a few videos that I've kind of moved up to the front. So we shall see what I can come up with and show you guys how to fix that minor little situation. Right, Larry?
Y'all.
You're and
You know,
you're
I've got 7,000 miles on original brakes and original bearings,
right.
but I live in the desert,
Yep.
so I'm not in the mud anymore. I was in the mud in Washington, but my side by side's not a submarine.
Correct. 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 So I got a question for you guys. Because I was going to do my live stream in the kitchen. And Larry said it wasn't Redneck Kitchen. It was Redneck Garage to get my anus out to the garage. Do you guys mind sometimes when I do live streams in the kitchen? Or would you rather see me hanging out in this humble abode? Let's vote on that. So, garage, kitchen, or basement? Which one do you like the most? And the basement's going to happen regardless in the wintertime. I'm not coming out here and freezing.
Hey, you got that ball sweater underneath the counter. You're okay.
Yeah, I'm out of propane. So, I'm not okay. And I'm kind of cold.
Yeah, eat some chili. You'll be able to fill it back up.
I just ate some hungry Howies. Brandon Davis says the garage. Of course, Brandon would. Thanks, buddy.
Well, see, not only this, when you're in the garage, people get to kind of see what projects you might have laying around.
Yeah, kind of like this brute force I never do anything on. Maybe I should start doing some videos on the brute force, but it's only a little 300. It's two-wheel drive. There's not much to do with it, really. I mean, it's just a little putt arounder, and it's my wheelie machine. That thing will set up in the air like no tomorrow, and it's all stock except for the exhaust and the dyno and the dyno jet in the carburetor. But it would do wheelies way before all that. Says don't care where you send from. Sweet. Howdy, Supreme. Hey, buddy. How's that Can-Am treating you?
Oh, yeah, by the way, these are Can-Am parts.
Yeah.
That are going in my CFMOTO.
Yep. Nick says, is there any other aftermarket air filters besides Uni? Well, there's a few answers to that, and I hate to get too detailed, but there's a few other ones, but there's no other one that I would run. I hope that sums it up for you. Let me hop on and show my view before. Yes. Go ahead. Hold on. I'll send you the link. Justin can join us up too if he wants. Let me throw the link up here. There you go, guys. Feel free to click on her. So, Justin, the creator, I want to touch on this real quick. He was kind enough to send me some of these to try, and he wants an unbiased opinion. And I'm going to give him the best opinion that I can whenever we do these videos. But I want to let you guys know, because I know you're wanting to see all the mud and stuff fall off of the machines with these chemicals here. My trails are actually closed until like May. So I'm going to try tomorrow to kind of sneak onto a path, we'll just say, and get a little dirty. I'm going to try. I'm not making no promises, but I want to also test it out on my camper because that ceramic detailer, that will be a perfect protectant for your camper, your truck, car, everything. So I want to try it on my camper. I want to try it on my truck, and my truck has not been washed at all, not a single time in the last year since before COVID. So I haven't washed it. So we're going to try a couple of those and see what they do on there. Howdy,
Oh,
howdy, Brandon.
Brandon's got the ball and chain with him too. The old lady.
That's my daughter.
Oh, is
that's
it?
his, yeah, that's
Oh,
got to be his daughter.
I just barely seen some blonde hair there.
Look at Brandon. And his daughter's probably singing Daddy's Money. Got it.
Got it going on.
This ain't too shabby, boys. I'll take this for a couple weeks.
Supreme said end of April. Yeah. There's like one I think that opens up early May here, and I'm gonna try to hit it. I got a couple of big trips, and I got all my money saved for those. So because those are gonna be huge things.
Hey, Brandon, you're making me miss living in Washington State next to the ocean.
We ATC Dan, we have like Renegade Ridge. We have all kinds of stuff, all kinds of trail parks here in Ohio.
All right, boys. I'm not gonna piss Nightbot off anymore. I'm gonna go to bed.
Hey, screw Nightbot. I can't believe it gets after you every time. He can't do anything. I got his features turned off. He can just talk shit.
What are you going to bed for? It's still daylight.
I know. I'm tired. I drove 15 hours. I'm tired.
Oh,
yes,
you would never make it. You would never make it as a truck driver.
No, that's not. I'm not a truck.
15 hours. You're just getting started.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't know how those boys do it. All right, man. I'll wrap with you guys later. See ya.
Okay,
See ya.
we'll see you later. Have fun, Brandon. ATC Dan, yeah, I don't ride in the wintertime. Too cold for me. But yeah, that I wish they would do more rides than what they do. That place is, in my opinion, that's the best place here in Ohio. A lot of people like, oh, what's that place called? They got what their Honda Hills. Shoot, there's that other big place. It's not far from me. Crap, I can't remember, but I don't go there because there's a lot of BS, drinking and theft and busting out car windows, and yeah, so I'm real picky at where I go. Justin the creator, he's laughing. But we are gonna try and get these machines some kind of dirty somehow tomorrow. I'm going to try my best. We are going riding tomorrow, regardless, 100%. But I want to try and sneak on a trail. I got to be careful. So, yes, Wellsville. I don't like Wellsville at all. Yeah, me too. That place is a shit show. It's nice and big, and it would be fun to ride, but there's too much BS that goes on in there. Riding at Wellsville is just as bad as riding downtown Canton here. pretty rough.
So,
Oh,
Steve, you told me earlier that a bunch of people are bugging you about my whips.
ton of people. And listen, I want to cover because it's not set in stone yet. But I got a real quick before your whips. I got an email from that company. What's that company that I told you earlier, Larry?
What was it? KWT?
KWT. Yeah, they're air particle separators. They've been emailing me back and forth this week and reached out to me. I'm assuming they've seen my channel somewhere along the way, but they reach out to me and want me to do a review on one of their air particle separators. And it's not set in stone. He's supposed to call me. He was supposed to call me tonight and he didn't. So I'm not sure, but we'll see. You know, I'm not going to bug them. They want me to do it. They want me to do it. If they don't, they don't. But just a little heads up. Might have something like that coming. And your whips.
Well, you guys go to Z-Force Nation on Facebook, and you can get a hold of me through there. Send a message. I'm one of the admins there. I'm going to order my materials and make enough to do 5 sets here within the next few weeks. And they're going to be first come, first serve. So if you want a set, message me. That's the only thing I can say. But they will be a little bit different than what Steve showed. Things are going to be a little bit more incorporated.
It seems like I'm the guy that gets all the prototypes. I got Hester's prototype shocks. I got your prototype whips. You know, and that's definitely cool because prototypes are always has some sort of flaw. But to be honest with you, I haven't had a single problem with the whips or the shocks. Now we just installed the whips. I only rode on them maybe 50 miles. And they haven't been out in the woods yet. Neither has the shocks, but I say they're great.
Now,
That's the only place we have gone, but we got some rough rides. So when we get the X3, we're going to go other places in there. Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to do that mine ride, but they're kind of super buttholes about stuff. They don't like street legal machines, and I cannot support that.
well, Steve, come out here to Arizona. We love street legal machines, street legal quads, street legal side by sides.
Yep.
And you don't have closed trails out here. You just go out and ride.
Yep.
The only time things get closed out here is when it's closed due to fires.
Oh yeah. You guys know what this is. You guys already know what it is. I will be doing the giveaway most likely Sunday. So keep an eye out for the giveaway video. If you haven't yet, go find the video that I talk about this, where I build this, and go watch that video and comment on that video, because I will be picking from those comments. So if you didn't comment on that video on YouTube, you won't have a chance to win. Commenting on Facebook does not count because I don't have a comment picker that will pick from all of the comments through all the platforms. So it has to be through YouTube there.
And let me guess, I'm excluded.
No, you can go comment. Because I pick
Woohoo!
it online. I pick it. It wouldn't do you any good because your exhaust is different. But I do it all live, so there's no cheating. So go comment.
Actually where the tip is, it's not that much different. There's still 3 studs in the exhaust with a couple 10mm nuts on them.
So is it the same thing as this?
Yeah, pretty much.
If I knew that, I would have sent this to you to do a freaking sound test.
You know, I just don't know if they got the 3 studs at the same angles as the other machines.
That could be. Yeah, but who cares if you could have bolted it up for a minute to just hear it?
Oh hell, I could have drilled holes in the plate and put it at the right angle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true, Supreme.
You know, hell, that muffler on my machine weighs like 50 freaking pounds because of the catalytic converter that's built into it.
Yes, yes. Yeah, sorry guys. I was trying to cram a bunch of information in this live stream since it's not going to be our usual, but we'll get back to normal. But summertime is coming, so kind of get used to it because when summer's here, I'm going to be out on the weekends making videos for you guys.
Oh,
Oh, Tony, yes, I'm glad you said something about shocks because I don't know if it was you or somebody else commented before we even started asking how the EX shocks was on the 500 trail. I have to get up for this one. We took them out driving the other day, and which we've put since I've changed those over maybe like 150 miles on the machines. And my wife absolutely freaking loves it. And I'll tell you guys what I did if you didn't see the video. The front shocks are the factory stock shocks on the trail. The rear shocks are what I changed over. I set the front shocks to all the way soft and I backed off the preload. But I also put a 2-inch lift kit, bracket lift, on there to lift it back up to factory height. On the rear, you have to take the lift off because the EX shocks are longer. And in order to run the EX shocks, you got to run 2-inch spacers or the wheel will hit the reservoir. Now, guys have actually seen my video and told me that they have turned them in. So I'm not the first guy to do this. I didn't know that when I made the video because I'd never seen anything on it. But when people started messaging me and commenting and emailing me, they said to let you guys know that you could turn them in. And I didn't think that you could. Now, I've had guys say that they turned them upside down, and that is a no.
mm-mm.
Do not turn a shock upside down. There's many reasons to that. We won't get into that on this live stream, but just trust me. I'm always honest with you. I'm always 100% with you, and I'll never feed you a line of crap. Don't turn any shock whatsoever upside down for any reason. I don't care what it is. If it only fits upside down, it don't belong on there. Am I right, Larry?
Yep.
So, but
But YouTube said,
they ride super awesome and it's super smooth. It's a little more, it's still a little bit more jumpier in the front end, but really the rear end was the big concern on this. But to be completely honest with you, if you got the money to buy the EX shocks, put a few more dollars with it and get the Elkas. That's my honest opinion. But if you
well,
got a set of EX shocks for free or for like $200 or $300, do it. But if you're gonna buy them new, they're $500 a piece. That $1,000, you put like $200 with it, and you can have some Elkas. Just my opinion. You're
my
welcome,
whole day,
Tony. Sorry,
my whole day
every
is
time
just
somebody asks me a
screwed up.
question, I just go off and go into details. It's just me. I can't help it.
Two Brothers exhaust, too expensive for me.
It is, but they sound great, Larry. Have you ever heard one?
Yeah, but you know, I just
Hey,
can't
Corporal
see.
Killer.
I can't see paying that dollar amount for a
No,
freaking muffler
no.
when you can have a custom exhaust made for for an entire car for about
Yeah.
that or a couple dollars more.
Yeah, right. I agree
But
with
it's
you.
but it seems like if it says Power Sports in front of it or behind it, the cost just went up by like 10 times.
Yeah. Yep. You think an X3 DS Turbo will ride 100 times better than a 500 Trail? Yeah, I do. But I think it's going to bottom out just as much. They sit low.
Yeah.
They do. It's going to ride better, but it's going to smack off the rocks the same way. It's just Can-Am. They sit too low. I call them street queens because
Well,
they sit low.
they're great machines in the dunes, though. I
Yep.
got to give it to Can-Am for the dunes. You know, that's where they shine is in the sand.
Hey, ADV off road. Yeah. Just like I said, you can't put the fronts on. It won't work. It won't happen. They won't fit. But if you put the rears on and then you set the fronts to all the way soft, back off the preload as far as it'll go. Um, well, basically as far as it'll go, and you put the 2-inch lift up there. Um, yeah, definitely. So really out of pocket to do that, since you're going to give yourself your shocks, you'd have $30 in it for the lift kit, and you won't put the lift in the rear because the 1000 shocks are the same identical shocks as my 800EX stock shocks. They actually lift it about 3 inches, so you kind of got to back the preload off of them a little bit. But yeah,
But here's a word of warning. When you take the compression and you set it to all the way soft, you are going to bottom out the shocks
well,
way more
yes
because
and no.
you're not controlling the shock shaft speed as well.
Yes, that's true, but not with these trail shocks. The spring is far too stiff, Larry. I have yet to bottom those out. The springs are just too stiff. Yes.
I know on my 1000 I did.
Well, those are a completely different. Those are a completely different shock and spring. These springs deserve to be on a freaking F-150. I'm
Oh,
not
they're
kidding.
that bad?
They're that bad. They're.
Wow.
I can go sit on that front end and it won't budge. Yeah.
You know, I wanted to touch something about a little bit about tire pressures.
Yeah, that's good talk.
A lot of people run low air pressure, you know, when they're on the trails or in the sand. There's no reason for it.
Right.
Even in the sand with your stock tires, nowadays they have enough flotation that you don't need to air them down.
Right. Well,
And
yeah.
and when you air them down, like a lot of people do, down to like 3 pounds in the sand, you're actually going to lose ground clearance when you come off of something.
You lose ground clearance when you air them
Well,
down to a certain point, yeah. 3
well,
psi.
is when it comes off is like if you go over a top of dune and you catch some air, that whole sidewall is going to compress,
Yep.
and you also have a chance of getting a pinch flat easier.
Yes.
And not only that, then the tire starts to act as a shock absorber. So now the shocks aren't doing their job in controlling the wheel and tire movement.
Right. And the only time I would air down is whenever you're doing some serious rock
Super,
crawling,
yeah, rock crawling where you're going super slow.
super slow, and you're watching, but when you're in the trails in the mud, I personally wouldn't go below 8 psi. But me personally, I run between 10 and 15. Now, 15 being on the road and 10 to like literally like 12 on the trails. And I'll air down accordingly. But honestly, I never have a problem at I say 10. Mine are set to 9.5 right now. and they ride good on the road. They got enough cush, and I'm hoping they'll ride good in the trail. I haven't tried these out, but that's the same PSI that I was running in my stock tires, and they ran good the whole time I've owned the machine. And a lot of people think I just ride the road, and I'm going to tell you right now, I have more trail miles on my machine than I do road miles. I'm just going to say that. I when I first started YouTube, I didn't record all of our trail riding because it was about the garage. But this year, I'm going to mix it up a little bit because the garage videos get kind of expensive. And if I'm paying to go to a park, I might as well throw in some super awesome footage. And I'm getting a little better with the cameras, and I got more cameras now. So you're going to be seeing some trail riding. And I know you guys kind of want to see that, especially the ones that are picking on me about my pavement princess. So you're getting trail riding this year. And when we go to Redneck Ranches, what else are they getting, Larry?
Oh, they're going to get a little bit of test and tune on a 1000. They're going to get a little bit of drag racing between an 800 and a 1000. And now the 1000 is on 30-inch rubber.
And mine's on 28.
Yours is on 28s.
Yep.
And to kind of mix things up, we're going to swap tires and wheels around and see what the differences are between the two machines with swapping them around. Going to have a little bit of drone footage in there.
Yep.
And probably a lot of bald eagles.
Oh, I'm hiring a drone pilot because I don't have a drone pilot's license.
But now, like, see, when I run the trails, I don't run below 14 or below 12 psi on my tires.
Yep.
But when I'm out here in the desert, out in the dirt, sand, the occasional rocks that come up, through the washes, now I'm usually running 16 to 20.
Yeah. I like to run about 15, 13, 14, 15 on the street. The machine is not so all over the road that way. But when it comes into the trails and the mud, you don't want to run. I wouldn't run 15 psi. The tires are too hard and you'll slide too much in the mud. Like I said, I kind of recommend around the 10 psi mark, somewhere in there.
But you got to go accordingly to what you're doing, how hard you're running. The harder you run, the more air pressure you need.
That's pretty cool, ADV off-road. Thanks for that tip, buddy. Maybe you've already got something similar, but figured I'd throw that. I use just a few GoPros. I got a cheap China camera that seems to do pretty well. And I use my editing software, DaVinci Resolve, and I use it on a Mac.
Why don't you use your Mac for your live streams anymore? Oh, that's right, because you get a green screen of death.
Oh, shut up. It happened one time. I get more screens of death with this. Tony Mac, that is true, or ADV off-road, I'm sorry. That is true, but that's not true. The 250 gram, you don't need a pilot's license. But when you're doing it for business, YouTube is a business. You have to have your part 107, I believe it is. Or you can get a $25,000 fine. That's why my drone has been put up. Oh, 2-inch spacers. I'm gonna say this.
Yes.
I'm gonna say this. Don't listen to Larry. My personal opinion. If you're running your stock rims and you're not running an offset rim, and you put 2-inch wheel spacers on, yes, you're still putting a little bit more stress on some things. Yes, some things are going to prematurely wear. I personally, in a lot of miles between the two machines, have not had any failures whatsoever. But when I got my offset rims and my 2-inch spacers, they put me out 3 inches. Going down the road, it was a death wobble. Now, that was before my tires were balanced. So I plan on putting them back on to see how things are, but I also think I'm only going to use them in the trails because I don't want 3-inch. 3 inch is overkill. I would not do anything over 2-inch. I'm also considering 1-inch spacers. That way I can still set out those 2 inches.
Yeah, see you later, Justin.
Justin says, I got to bounce, fellas. Got to get ready for a weekend of family stuff. Hope y'all have an amazing Easter weekend, Red. I'll talk to you soon, bro. Hey, buddy, see you later. Happy Easter. I totally forgot about that. And stay tuned because I'm going to try this week to maybe do a video or so on those. Thank you. Have fun. God bless you, bud.
You know, when you were talking about your RV with that one,
Yeah.
I want to see how well it gets rid of the black streaks on our RVs, on our campers.
Yeah, because our campers get pretty dirty.
Yeah,
Mine-
it's a lot of it's from the water coming around the seals, and
right.
you know the dirt gets up underneath the siding and stuff, and then it runs into it and it washes it down.
Yep.
And those black streaks they're a bitch to clean off.
Yep. Yep. And like I said, I was talking to Justin when he had mentioned on sending me this stuff. I got super excited because I'd planned on buying it anyway to try it out. And then he reached out to me and he's like, "Hey man, I want you to try this stuff." So I was like, "Okay, send it over." And then me and him got onto the phone and was talking. And I said, "Listen," I said, "you guys are all washing your ATVs and stuff with it. And from what I've seen, this stuff is awesome. I've gotten some previews. And it looks like it's a great product." And I told him, I said, "You know, a lot of people don't know this, but they sell a wax for campers that helps protect your seals and all of the siding and all that stuff from UV." Well, that blue bottle that's right there in front, I believe that's the ceramic detailer. That's basically the same stuff. Now, I'm not saying chemical for chemical is the same, but I'm saying that it's the same type that they coat the campers with. And mine's dirty. It's been sitting all winter. I haven't washed it since before we went camping, like 3 times before summer was over. So it's been, you know, quite a few months of getting grime, and I want to test it. And my truck hasn't been washed in over a year or somewhat in there. And I want to try that ceramic detailer and see just how it pulls the dirt right out of that paint and shines it up. Because the previews that I got to see, they did it on some machines and it looks like they brought out the buffer. I ain't kidding. So I'm super excited to try this stuff. And I think those are a good point.
You know, here's something I'm curious of. Why hasn't somebody 3D printed or something or fabricated something up that looks really good that you could basically just drill a hole in the box of your side by side for the air cleaner to relocate it to where it draws air from the box instead of from in front of it? That would be so simple to print up on a 3D printer that would fit. And you can just hold it on by a few screws.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe I'll have to buy a 3D printer again since my wife broke my last one.
Yeah.
And print something up, and because I think that would be just real simple and easy. Little template, pop a hole in, couple screws.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't want me to answer questions about spacers. You know how I feel about them.
Larry is anti-spacer.
Yup.
but I'm
for multiple reasons.
well, there's many other reasons other than wear. There's cast or camber angles, there's geometry, steering geometry. Um, but when you're in the trails, none of that stuff truly matters because you're not driving fast enough for it to matter. On the road, on the other hand, it's a little different, but 2 inch, it my
Well,
machine actually handled better with the 2 inch than
but
it
you know,
did with
here's another thing. Anytime you move those wheels out
later,
further
buddy.
to where they get more leverage on the steering system, the more you're going to feel it in the steering wheel and feedback,
Right.
whether you're going fast or slow.
Yep. And
The
that's
more
true.
leverage when you hit something, it has to bend a steering knuckle, bend a tie rod, snap a tie rod in, or take out your steering rack because you're giving it that much more leverage.
Well, I have some extra tie rod ends coming from Main Street Cycle, and we're going to show how and I'll explain now. There's many different ways to set an alignment on side by side or an ATV, and I only got these for extras, but they're coming, and I want to show you guys how to align your steering and your alignment. And I want to show different ways because there's different. How do I explain this, Larry? If you're going fast, your alignment is going to be different than if you're going slow. If you're going fast for handling, you want your tires to be outward a little bit because it's better for your handling. If you're going slow, you can have them straight, super straight. So, what is it?
Now,
What?
I align mine a 1/4 inch toe in.
You align yours toe in?
Yep.
Okay, now see, toe out
Now,
basically does the same thing.
now is why I do a 1/4 inch toe in is because when I get up to speed and it's got that pressure, by the time you get up to speed and everything, it takes the slack out of everything, and they're
Yep.
pretty much straight.
Yep. That's true.
And I is what I did on. I made me in a little alignment deal.
Yeah.
I basically went and got me 2 pieces of angle iron, the same length, that I can bolt to my hubs where my tires would go.
Right.
And I use that and use a tape measure. And that the length of that is the same diameter, or is the length of that is the same as what the diameter of my tires are. So when I go to do my alignment, I'm aligning to the diameter of the tire.
Yeah. I have to answer this question. And this is the God's honest truth coming from my heart. This green thing is far more reliable than a C-Force. I'm sorry.
You ain't got no miles on that thing. You got like 200.
Let's see.
Make sure it's in miles and not kilometers.
It won't switch. The battery's dead. I think last time I checked, it was almost a 400. But they have been the hardest 400 miles. I jumped this thing. It's a 300. I'm 320, 328 pounds or something. That's a little 300. I ride wheelies with it. I big jumps with it. I have put this thing through absolute hell. Those 400 miles are all hard miles. They're not riding the road miles. They are basically, honestly, they're motocross track miles, because where I used to ride this thing was a motocross track, and I would full send this thing. And the reason I say the C-Forces aren't reliable, and I hate to say it because I absolutely enjoy CFMOTO machines. The C-Forces, and not all of them, they have electrical issues. They have no start issues. The emergency brake breaks off easy. They overheat. They run hot. They melt the plastics, and they burn your legs. And a buddy of mine has a C-Force 800. He took it through the same mud hole that I took that through, and it stalled when he got up out of it because of the water going into the electronics. And it wasn't even a deep hole. The hole was deep, but the mud, there was barely any mud. It was just real soft in there. That's all. And they just got far more problems. And his lights will start to flicker and everything. There's a lot of problems CFMOTO needs to work out of those C-Forces before I buy one. And they better do it soon because I want one. He said, LOL, just kidding. I wish it was four-wheel drive, guys. I wish it was four-wheel drive, but I do like my Kawasaki. I'm partial to Kawasaki. I like Kawasaki. And even though this is actually technically Kymco. This is a Kawasaki Brute Force 300, but Kymco's name is all over it. I haven't heard any problems with the 400s, 500s, or 600s. It's all been like the 800 and I think maybe a couple 500s. So it's not, looks like my family members here.
You know what machine I wish I would have never got rid of and I still had it?
What?
My old Kawasaki 250 Takati 3-wheeler. That
Yeah.
thing was a beast.
Yep. Yes. The 800, I can speak for the 800. It's super awesome. But guys, my family member just showed up, so I got to get off of here, unfortunately. I thank you all for joining me and having a little conversation with us, and enjoy your C-Force machines because I truly love CFMOTO. They just got some minor bugs they need to work out, and I'm sure that they will. I feel confident.
And guys, like I said, if you want the whips, hit me up over on Z-Force Nation.
Yes, sir.
And
AGZ Off-Road, they do, and they're minor problems, very, very minor.
And they're going to become first come, first serve. And like I said,
Yep.
I'm only going to do 5 sets to begin with.
Yep. All right, guys, I'm gonna run. I'll see you guys next Saturday, most likely. And stay tuned for that grilling video because I'm gonna do her up tomorrow. Tomorrow, stay tuned. I know a lot of people were wanting to see it. So, all right, Larry, I'll jacket you probably later, I'm sure.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. When your family members finally piss you off,
and leave, or yeah, because they're not staying. Well, they're staying, but not here. They're staying at my mom's.
well, they might leave sooner if they're liberal and you start,
They're not. They're not.
Oh,
If they're coming over to my house, I don't got a problem with them. Let's put it that
okay.
way.
Then if you need them to go,
Stay safe, Tony.
just,
Bye,
just
Renee.
start
However
praising
you say that, I'm
Harris and
sorry.
Biden.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll catch you guys on the flip side, and stay tuned. I'm going to try. No promises, but I'm going to try to do some videos. It all depends upon the weather and everything else because it's really crappy here right now. All right, guys.
See ya.
We'll see you. Have fun. Thanks for watching.